Good morning, fellow travelers on Spaceship Earth. Alfie, it was you're really tired. Maybe you should go back to bed. It's okay. But we broadcast twice a day. We always have. Remember? Here's the thingy. Do you have time changes? Well, this is a Monday. Two times a day, 5 days a week. That's how I get my work done. Want to join stream this morning? Yeah. I don't know what happened to it's Tuesday only for you. It's Tuesday for Japan. Japanese time, it's Tuesday, 12:10 a.m. Well, maybe you should go to bed. We'll be here. It's okay. We'll be here. Yeah, I know. Time travel. Not a bad case of the summer. I'm like sitting there going, anybody on the Quack forum want to join the stream? You don't gotta, but just wanted to make sure you all knew. Stream's running. There you go. Alrighty. Yeah, you're gonna get busted. All right. I have now signaled out to the Quackers and said, hey guys, you gonna join? So last night, Brent, Neon joined us. Like live, actually. She was over there on the side controller, and that's the bad kind of summers. Go to sleep. Alfie, go to sleep. We got this. All right. I got to get some work done. That's what I'm doing. We got some work to do. Plausibly, Pepper will join. We don't know. It may or may not happen. We'll see. I'll switch monitors. Now you can see where we are here. What I've been doing for the last couple of days is what I've been doing for the last couple of days is the wrong thing. That's always nice. Let's go back to the beginning, folks, and bring up all of our. I was thinking I had done this so well, and no, we didn't do it so well. That's all right. We'll get there. Use the wrong bubble. This needs to be a different bubble. Okay, now we got to figure out how to make a different bubble. Maybe it's just simple. You think? Think it's simpler, or is this going to be super hard? It's going to be super hard. I mean, I guess I could have told you that was going to happen. It wasn't that terrible, I guess. Okay. The kiddo is there at camp. So now I'm just going to tag the location. I'm trying to figure out how to. There we go. There we go. All right. Maybe it's not that. Maybe she's got some other thing she says when she quotes somebody. I don't feel like he's like crying or anything like that. No, but I do feel like it should be a little bit more than just a circle. So I have learned a whole lot of things that we're going to do differently next time. It saves us a lot of time. So that'll be cool. does make me think, though. What should we do for quoting? All right. Comic book grammar and tradition. Burst balloons, shout balloons, yeah. There are 4 types of captions in comics. I'm looking through the rules and regulations on balloons. Oh, you no longer need 2 spaces. I'm still not seeing it, though. I feel kind of like... Oh, really? I think the McGregor stream is a good... Like, you mean broadcast it on my broadcast? I'll probably stick it in here somewhere. I think this is a square box. She's quoting this person directly. It's not a whisper box, though. Could be fun. Do need to close this just a little bit. I'm getting glare off the edge of my monitor. I need things to read my mind, is what I need. Why can't we get AI to read our minds? That's what I want to know. Mind reading. Good work. Hey there, hi there, ho there.
Hello.
What's haps? What's the haps?
Joining, because you asked if someone was going to join you this morning, and I had to take a bet.
Well, yeah, but
Or
what's the
join.
haps happening? Is that the only thing that's happening?
Well, I mean, outside of what I stated privately, yeah, no, that's pretty much it.
Nothing else is happening? You done any work? You gonna do work today?
I'm going to do work today. I mean, I'll be realistic. Like, I haven't really been telling people, but yeah, I've been sick since mid-May, so it's like, it's been very difficult to work and sit down.
It's all good.
So,
And you don't have to push yourself today if you don't need to. I was just I was actually going to, what I was kind of doing was doing the, is everybody all right? Because nobody's been here. Last night we had somebody who started watching our show a while back, and she'd kind of tripped over our feed, and she's drawing a little comic. And so last night she had the day off, so she joined the stream actually. Like, she actually was on the show. That was cool.
Cool. Does this person have a name?
Yeah, Neon Black Bats.
Okay.
I actually don't know what their real name is at all, even though they were on the show, which is fine.
That's fine.
Yeah, but yeah, the Neon Black Bats person was on last night. Apparently she has a toddler, because you can hear the toddler coming in the background all the time.
Gotcha.
It's just really cool. So we've got it. We now have expanded our quack to Oregon.
Okay.
Or at least some part of quack is extended to Oregon.
Cool.
But her job requires her to monitor people all night long.
Oh.
You know, she works at a retirement home or whatever, and her job is to make sure they don't get out of bed in the middle of the night. So she can join us for streams most of the time. She just can't turn on her microphone in case somebody gets up and says something. It's a violation of HIPAA regulations. So
gotcha.
She can stream her PC's screen while she draws, and so she's like, I can join. I'm like, yeah, that's fine. Sounds like a great idea. So it's kind of cool.
Okay.
So yeah.
Cool.
Quack isn't necessarily limited to Denver anymore, which is kind of cool.
Well, I mean, I think that was kind of proven when Kat joined the stream.
Yeah, but Kat came from here, and so did Brent, because like both of those guys, though definitely now on extended departure from everything, they both started kind of in real life here with us. I'm just actually kind of cool. I think that's cool. You know, came across our stream legitimately by just searching stuff on Twitch, and you know, and I just think that's cool.
Cool. Yeah. Sorry if it's like I'm not like super vivacious, people.
You don't gotta be. It's okay. Nobody said you had to.
Yeah, I just.
I actually just missed you. That's all.
No, I kind of like. I was debating whether or not to come back to the show.
Ever?
Actually, yeah.
Oh, okay.
Because like part of me was like, the original purpose of the show was like a once a week thing for me.
Uh-huh.
And it was something that I was actually like something that seemed doable for me, but my life needs to be reorganized at this point. As far as workflow and all of it, I'm severely behind in everything. Getting sick just kind of made me reevaluate pretty much how I've been doing things.
Sounds
So,
reasonable to me.
And what I haven't gotten done yet, in that I promised that it was already supposed to be done.
Right.
So it's yeah.
Well, I mean, this was from the very get-go. This entire stream has been supposed to be a thing that helps you work. If it does not help you work, then I agree with you. But also the once a week thing was a check-in, and
yeah, that's basically
and it's now become a body doubling thing. So,
yeah.
but that's because this worked for me. It makes me get to work, and so because it works for me does not mean you have to do it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it is absolutely okay if it's not working for you. You know?
Yeah. Well, that's like, I think it's just basically like I just come on when I decide to. Now, it's that's basically what it turned into.
Is you come on and do what?
I basically just come on when I decide that I want to come on.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah, and there's nothing wrong with that at all.
Yeah, I just no.
Yeah, in fact, that would be what I would rather you did instead of quitting altogether.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It'd be nice if you just came on whenever you felt like it. You know? Oh, okay. You know what? I think I can do it today. You know? I was only getting onto the quack side and saying, hey guys, anybody want to come on, because I'm having a hard time focusing, and I'm having a hard time not just going, well, you know what? I'm going to quit now for the day. And Brent can only do so much from Kansas.
Well, I'm still waiting for him to get back to me on something.
Oh yeah,
I am.
cool.
So, but no, I actually did find a July prompt thing to do.
Uh-huh.
So I've been slowly but surely doing whatever I can for the prompt. So it's like cryptids.
Okay.
It started out with the Jersey Devil, Poop Snake,
Aw, I like it.
the London Bridge square gelatinous cube.
People have such great imaginations. Like, I love all these.
Anomaly 13.
Nice.
Fresno Nightcrawlers.
I love those guys because they're like, we don't have anything but a head and legs.
So, no, I'm slowly but surely getting things onto my web store. I got some prints up there now. I'm coming from like basically if I go grocery shopping, I have to this past weekend when we went, I had to take the scooter thing around because I couldn't stand and walk.
Wow.
Like, that's on how sick I've been.
Was this a COVID related thing?
No, I got so mid-May when we had the smoke inhalation issues from Canada. Basically, it got me sick.
Right.
So that sickness caused some health issues to creep up,
Gotcha.
and for some strange unknown reason, I was gaining weight.
Oof.
But like, I was barely eating anything, and I was getting sick a lot. I was vomiting.
I didn't
I was
really mean to have you,
Yeah.
you know, if you don't want to talk about this.
No, it's fine. No one really wants to hear about vomit. It's all right. I get it.
No. It's not that. You had said at the very beginning, whenever I talked to you, you're like, what I had said in private. And I was like, oh, okay, so we're not talking about it. That's all. If you wish to talk
I'll
about
talk
it,
about
please
it
feel
now.
free.
It's fine. I'll talk about it now. It's fine.
Okay.
So I go through the rest of May, starting the process. It doesn't seem like anything's really changed much. I hadn't really put on much weight. Everything seemed fine, normal. I just had a very annoying cough and I wanted to get rid of it. However, that all changed in June. Some like really weird, bad stuff started happening. I had limbs starting to swell. I had other things happening on my body. And yeah, since last Thursday, I've lost 15 pounds.
Oh.
Just from water weight.
Oof. It's like a dangerous level of nasty.
Yeah, so I'm still on medication to get the water out of my system. My doctor doesn't want me to drink a lot of water, but I have another health condition that prevents me from doing that. Like, I need to still drink water, so I need to find a source of electrolytes this week. Surprisingly enough, coffee and black tea has been helpful, making sure that I breathe properly.
Oh, okay. That is kind of weird. Would not have expected that.
Well, not really in the sense of coffee and black tea, which are caffeinated drinks, not the decaf, but the caffeinated.
Yeah.
Were given to children who had asthma to open up capillaries back in the day so that they could breathe. So it's a folk remedy that still works.
Sure.
But it's not a permanent solution. It's not a fix. You're not supposed to give it to someone who's in the middle of an asthma attack. You're not supposed to give them
Right.
then. But it's basically a preventative to prevent one. So, but I haven't had to drink it consistently every day for a while now. Like, I used to have to wake up every morning and drink black tea. Now I can wake up and drink water.
Fair.
So, yeah. Well, I'm waiting on more results. They did an EKG on me already. Based off of the results that they got back on Friday. Sorry, no, they got the results sent on Sunday. They were done, the testing was done on Friday. So I'm expecting to hear from them today what's going on. So, yeah, that's where I'm at with that.
Gotcha.
But on the 4th of July, I had before the 4th, I had a chest X-ray done, and the people who did the chest X-ray sent a message with it that was actually a message that was supposed to be filtered through my doctor, but they sent it to me.
Oops.
And they basically said they gave a diagnostic of looking at the image, saying I had congestive heart failure.
Yep.
And the thing is I don't have congestive heart failure. I have a type of arrhythmia, which is not the same thing.
No, but it is still pretty
It's still
ugly.
scary, but not as scary as the first one.
I mean, and that whole thing. Of course, my dad also had congestive heart failure for like 10 years.
Yeah,
So just having congestive heart failure doesn't mean that you're gone.
right, right.
Although you are a little young for congestive heart failure, either way.
Well, like my dad's first heart-related thing was like when he was in his late 30s, and I am in my 40s. So
Right.
it's more or less like we have DNA testing being done too with me. So we're ruling out genetic factors too.
Right.
Um, but I have a heart that beats higher than 100 beats per minute,
Right.
which that means that my heart needs to be slowed down.
Okay.
That's the type of arrhythmia I have. It's like a
Mm-hmm.
sacred. It starts with a T. Tachodomy.
Yeah, it's something with tack in it.
Yeah.
I keep telling my kids that. I'm like, the tachometer is the
Hmm.
tack from beat. It does not mean that it's got like stickiness or something when you touch it.
Yeah. It's yeah. It's yeah. It is what it is.
It is what it is.
So but no.
So yeah.
Yeah. That's basically what I've been dealing with. Um, Bill basically took off work all last week because he was mentally freaking out. I was trying to keep everything together, but I freaked out eventually.
Yeah, June's not turning out to be really a nice month, and July is not starting out so hot either.
Mm,
So yeah, it's all right. We'll get through it. We'll make it through.
mm. I think it's gonna get improved soon for us. But nothing is. The one good thing about it is they didn't stop anything for us um, as
On
far
all the
as
other
health
missions.
goes.
Yeah.
So oh, speaking.
Yeah, I'm noticing that even Brent is talking about how the reason he hasn't done your part is because he's just cruising at this point because things are just rough. And I was like,
Mhm.
ooh,
Oh yeah, I mean that's fine. Um, uh, yeah. Oh, and during all of this, we also got like our renewal thing so that we can stay on our adoption list too. So that was fun to have to get.
right.
I'll be right back. I need to go use
Okay.
it.
I made yummy burritos last night. I call that kind of a cool thing. I made yummy burritos last night.
Oh,
Wait
good.
just a second, you know. All right, now I caught up. I'm trying to send this off to be beta read, but I realized that I realized that it's not easy to read at this point in time. So if they printed out the entire thing, they'd be like, well, I'm not sure exactly what this section's supposed to be doing, and I'm not, who's talking here? And so I figure at least I should do is go through and write in, there's a person here, and this is this person, and that person's there, and maybe clean up the area a little bit.
Well, the one good thing about the entire thing of being sick and everything was we've been playing D&D.
Oh yeah.
So I think I've only accidentally missed one session since starting by accident because I had a really bad day and it just kind of left.
Right.
But yeah, other than that, I'm glad, like, the group that I'm in, like, luckily everyone has, like, some form of health issue.
Right.
So it's not like they don't try to sit there and, like, make me feel bad for having them.
Sure. Yeah.
So, but yeah, I play a tiefling bard that is neutral, chaotic now because everyone found out on how chaotic I can become.
Right.
I was true neutral when I first met the party. Two of the party members have made my servants.
You made them your servant?
Yeah, I made them my servants, yeah.
I see.
Oh, did I also mention that my tiefling is also the 48th daughter of a high-ranking archdemon? So she's collecting souls for her parent.
I see. It's kind of funny.
So technically, the two characters that I did that to, one is an artificer, and then the other one is a hunter.
Uh-huh.
So, but they've been given the illusion that they have an out.
Ah.
Yeah. But it's a fun game. It's a fun run so far. Bill plays on it too. He plays. He plays a druid. So. He actually. He just got dice that are for druids. We couldn't find the healing druid dice, but we found the animal druid style dice. So it has like a little tiny wolf skull and
Oh, that's cool.
all of the dice. Same company that did that one. I think they have one that has like mushrooms in it in the center of the dice.
Cool. Oh yeah, little mushroom. Yeah, I've seen those.
Yeah.
Hey Donald. Hey Ray. Oh man.
So how's the summer going at the driving school?
Apparently one of our drivers got in trouble. That was interesting. So.
Oh, that sucks.
Yeah. Well, she was. I don't know. Something was happening. It was weird, but yeah. And it looks like my support staff is quitting. That's good.
What?
Yeah, all the people who support my area. So not everybody, just my support staff in my little classroom. So, hey, not that color. But yeah, other than that, I have like a great class going. The class that I'm with right now, they are kind of quiet, but not bad. Yeah, pretty cool.
Oh.
So, yeah, what is the true difference between druid and wizard? Well, I mean, are you talking about in D&D? Because the difference is that druids have a different set of spells they can use because they're all nature-based.
Well, druids, you have nature base and then you have healing base.
Yeah.
And then they can transform because of their connection to nature. They can transform into things like giant owl bears and stuff like that. But that's in D&D. Wizards are a bit different. They're more arcana based, knowledge driven.
Yeah.
Spells that take a lot more time to cast.
But they're more powerful.
Yeah, but they're also glass cannons,
Yeah.
just like mages. I mean, I play a bard.
So we sing a lot.
Yeah. Cause that pesky thing called inspiration to occur. Also, it depends on. Well, it depends on the type of wizard. There are some wizards that are not elemental based. So, because there are other elemental magic users too, so it's like kind of the shared thing. Oh, well, D&D stuff you can buy it like you want a commercial store, you probably want to do Barnes and Noble. It's probably the easiest place
Yeah,
to find it.
first,
A gaming store would probably be better because you have a mom and pop usually location selling them, and that goes directly to a mom and pop, not a corporation. Even people who work for Barnes and Noble say, like, if you can find a gaming store, buy it there. It's better for the economy to have the smaller guy actually get picked up, have it bought at their store versus them. I know that sounds counterintuitive, but a lot of people who work at Barnes and Nobles actually do believe that. Yeah, they do. All of those use elements. Yeah, it's a common thing with magic, though. Elements are used in all. I mean, I'm a bard, and I have elemental parts of my magic with some of the things I can do.
yeah, I was going to say, first you kind of need to figure out where Ray is. Ray's not in an easy place to find these things. But I'll bet you there's a way we could figure out how to order it and send it to you somehow.
Well, I would say check Amazon as a last ditch effort.
However, it is a lot of fun, Ray, and I highly recommend if you can figure out a copy. The question really is, I mean, your English is solid, so I guess you could just run it in English, but it'd be kind of complicated, I think. I'm trying to think of what it would be like to try to read an RPG book for me in Japanese, because that's my second language, and I'd be like, I don't know. I have a couple of JRPGs. I don't know. Maybe it would be fine.
Mm. Technically, Brent, my character was raised from the dead after being killed by a lich. So,
Son of a lich.
So like my character does have some like necromancy type stuff capabilities. I just have not explored that with that character. Yeah. My DM right now is doing the luck grace right now until he says once we reach level 5, he's taking it off. So that should tell you right there what type of game we're playing right now. Ooh. Speaking of which, I just found liquid dice. The little mini snow globes inside D20 and stuff.
I don't know, Ray. You might be able to. I mean, the only thing I can think of is getting D&D books through, say, Japan, because China won't have them.
But I thought, oh, that's right, China. Those places don't get that stuff, do they?
Right, because, I mean, Ray's
Because of
out in
morality
Siberia.
laws.
Yeah,
Okay.
I like Siberia. So Ray, that's a holdover from Cold War movies. Cold War movies, there was a stereotype that the Soviet regime would banish people to Siberia, and so it's sort of it's like all the propaganda that you have during the middle of a war like that. Because we were in the Cold War, and you get like these sound bites of information which are not actually true. And it's not just that. Like, my vision of like Japan was totally different than what it really was when I got to Japan, you know? And it wasn't worse or better, it was just different. I didn't expect those things. So, but that's why you hear so many people talking about Siberia is so scary. It's that old Cold War holdover, which is silly. And it's like any place, every place is cool. If people live there, it's probably not horrible. You know what I mean? Like,
I'll be realistic though. The first person I met from the first person I ever met from Siberia, they were really cool.
yeah.
I enjoyed their company.
Yep,
It was fun.
same here.
Um, they definitely thought differently than other people. So
I have a buddy from Kazakhstan, and I didn't know she was from Kazakhstan. I mean, I knew she was. I met her shortly after the fall of the Soviet Union, so I knew she was from the Soviet Union somewhere, but I had no idea that she was from Kazakhstan. And then, so I've known her for what? That's 30 years now. I've known her. And the other day, I'm talking to her, and she's like, she and I are talking about something, and I'm like, I've always wanted to go to Baikonur because that's where all the rockets are launched. And she's like, oh yeah, I'm from a village just outside of Baikonur. And I'm like, all of this time, I've known you for like 35 years, and you've never mentioned that you were from a village really close to Star City? And she's like, it never occurred to me before. And I'm like, you know me.
I mean, where I grew up in Florida, I literally could, both me and Bill, when we were kids, we could literally walk out
And just watch the launches.
and watch the launch.
Yeah.
And now, granted, we weren't right next to Cape Canaveral, but we could sit there and, like, we were about an hour south of it.
Right.
So we could literally watch it from our school.
Thanks for disclosing that so I don't do that to you in 20 years.
Yeah.
What? You were right by the Cape and you never told me?
Yeah. No.
I've always lived in the middle of the United States. I'm not near any launch facilities, and it always makes me sad.
No. I mean, it's fun, but, like, when you're growing up with it as a kid, after a while, it stops being special.
I can see that, and maybe that's not such a bad thing. You know what I mean? Like that I didn't grow up with it because it's still magic to me. But that's, going to heading off to Kazakhstan has been one of the things I've always wanted to do, and just be there for a Soyuz launch.
Well, my brother came back from Turkey recently, so
Tunguska. Tunguska would be a thing.
yeah, he got back like 2 weeks ago. He got back from Turkey.
From Turkey.
Mm-hmm.
Was he working relief?
No, he went just to see Turkey.
Oh, okay.
But while he was there, some crazy stuff happened.
Right.
He was sequestered to part of the city. He couldn't go into one part of the city while he was there because they were having riots.
Oh yeah.
And it was, I think it was the first time that anyone else in my family has actually like had to see what me and Bill fear from happening sometimes here.
Mm-hmm.
Essentially, he said it was an LGBTQ pride parade that went wrong because people started attacking it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, there are people who do not believe that that happens.
Yeah, and then he basically witnessed one of the people in the parade that was trying to get rights for LGBTQ to live their life without persecution in that area.
Mm-hmm.
The guy blew himself up.
Oh no.
As a suicide bomber.
Yeah, people kind of are like,
yeah,
you don't
like,
realize how desperate
that,
people are.
Yeah, he didn't know that stuff like this happened at all. And I was like, no, that stuff happens a lot.
Been happening for a while.
Yeah.
Part of the problem is that the news covers stuff up depending on what leads.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I just wanted to real quickly say to Ray that I absolutely want to visit Siberia someday. I like that place. I don't think it's horrible. But that's only because I've traveled. And I think people who don't travel don't figure that out. You know what I mean? Like they don't hear, oh, okay, I get it now. It's not a bad place. So they're stuck. I think a lot of people get stuck in the culture. So like they stay here, they never leave America, and they only watch American TV, and they get kind of locked into the culture. And that's why I say everybody should spend a year or two in another country, at least in their lifetime. Yeah, there was orthodoxy took over somewhere along the line and reverted everything. There are pictures from the late 70s from Iran with women sitting in universities, and they look just like American women. They're wearing American clothes. They're not covering their heads, and they're just sitting there doing work, doing physics, things like that. And then orthodoxy took over, and poof, all of a sudden it's impossible to get, anything going through. And women have to be covered, and, and it's all part of the big political game that goes on. So.
No, my brother really likes traveling to places that Americans are really not welcome. He stresses everyone out.
As the brother of a military soldier, I can share that opinion.
Yeah. Yeah, he was meeting up with someone that I guess she lives in, or she was helping with the efforts in Turkey with the cleanup or something. I can't remember exactly what she was doing, but she was originally from Russia. She was there and so she was hanging out with my brother while
Mhm.
that was all going on. So yeah. But I'm just happy he's back stateside. Because he kind of went at a time where I was like very worried.
Right. I don't know, was the Ottoman Empire super progressive, but it was also so wonderfully intelligent. So many things came from the Ottoman Empire.
I know, we would never have had those nice, nifty schools. Oh, I'm sorry, that's wrong. That's wrong. That's not correct. Sorry. That is a ignorant belief of most Americans.
Yep. Oh, you used to translate books? You mean from like Arabic into Russian or just Cyrillic? I mean, where did your which
Oh,
language?
okay, cool. I'll be right back.
Mm. Right. It did too. I mean, I'm fascinated. I'm usually fascinated by like where history goes, when it makes a right turn, when it makes a left turn. You know what I mean? Like all of these times, history had these pivot points where these huge cities were on the verge, on the end, and it's a thing.
What's up? What did I come into?
Oh, Russian and Mongolian and Tartar. That makes sense.
Wait, Tartar's an actual country?
It's an actual language.
Oh. Okay. I still don't know all the language names.
Well,
Sorry.
Ray's out on the steppe, so like I'm sure that's one of the things that fascinates me. It's because like that whole area is really interesting. That the Mongolian culture, that's an old culture, and it's
Mhm.
got so much rich history, and it's so fascinating. I
Mhm.
really like that area. There was a dream that I wanted to do at one point in time. I really wanted to, take the Orient Express, the actual train, and
Mhm.
because it goes through all of those areas now, and it just kind of you know, wanders through, and it ends up in Kazakhstan, which would allow me to do the other thing I wanted to do, which is watch a rocket launch with the Soyuz.
Mhm.
My love of machines knows no boundaries. Yeah, I mean, a lot of the problem, Ray, is that um, people have a real confused image because there's a lot of politics involved, um, and that's on our side. That's not on your side. So there's a lot of politics that have used words and twisted them and moved them around to further political uh, agendas. And so, what really happens in the real world is nothing like what America seems to think happens in certain areas. Well, that's all right. We'll get there someday. Wait, are you saying Siberia and oh, hey there, cat? Are you saying Siberia is in Russia? Because I do kind of know that. I also know that the area that's North China and very, very Eastern Russia is blurry. Like the history there is very blurry. And over the last multiple thousands of years, things have moved and shifted. And the cultures that sort of travel through there are um, nothing wrong with that.
Thank you.
I gotta give the Soviet Union props. They moved us pretty fast in the space race. But Americans don't have a positive view of the Soviet Union because there was a Cold War. Like I said, different politics. We've talked about brutalism before. I love brutalism. I remember though when I was younger, I had more stilted opinion of the Soviet Union. Yeah.
I mean, I'll be quite realistic. Um, you were a child of anyone, I want to say remotely, I would say in general, Republican Party wise, in the 80s, 70s, 80s, and early 90s. Any country that was considered communist country, um, you were pretty much fed whatever they believed that was actually going on. I know that sounds really bad, and a lot of misinformation did come out of that.
Yeah.
Uh,
And as time has gone on, I have learned a whole lot more about what was actually going on because time has passed.
yeah,
But as an 80s kid, we were going to be nuked by the Russians at any moment, you know what I mean? And it was like this constant stress and this constant fear.
well,
And that
and also like
painted a different picture.
I was a kindergartner in the 80s. I was in like 90s, early 90s. We were still getting,
Yeah.
well, even though the USSR was gone, we were still getting warned that it could happen, that they could
Any minute.
recombine any moment. So like it was, and everyone and a lot of people are like, well, the Cold War really ended. Like the Cold War never really ended. Yeah.
They showed the day after in class. I remember when the day after aired here in America in the 80s, and they were doing all of these parental discretion is advised, and all of those things. I was like, whoa, that's heavy. But I mean, it's one of those things. The older I get, the more I realize there are dumb people who run countries, and there are smart people who run countries. And it's sometimes a roll of the dice as to which you get,
Yeah.
And I mean, I don't know. Gorbachev versus Vladimir Putin, I'm not sure. You know what I mean? Like,
I would, yeah.
And it's not that I think that either one of them was good or bad. Just, now you're dealing with pre-revolution versus post-revolution. And there's almost a romantic view of the Cold War sort of forming. Like it was the good times back in the 80s before now, when things aren't like they were in the 80s. And it's like, I don't know. But the point, of course, was that I also know darned well that it wasn't like the U.S. propaganda really said.
Yeah.
No, there's no safe place when the nukes are involved. One of the things that Donald's saying is something that I had learned as well, which is once nuclear weapons ended up in our world, in our universe, it was never going to be safe. It's always mutually assured destruction. It doesn't matter. So there's a lot of saber rattling when it comes to nukes, but the reality is most people know that they push that button, that's it. Everybody's gone. They don't get their power. They don't get to control things. Nobody wins. And that's a different mentality.
We actually, we were at a bookstore this past weekend, and someone had not heard of the Dr. Seuss book, Butter Side Up, Butter Side Down. Well, they renamed the Butter Side Up, Butter Side Down book the Butter Wars.
Right.
Well, you're probably asking yourself why I'm bringing this up. It's a Dr. Seuss book teaching kids about mutual mass destruction
Mm-hmm.
and the dangers it causes. So, there are children's book authors that even try to impart to children that behaving in the manner that we're talking about is not good.
Right. Are you saying, Ray, are you saying that Gorbachev was less of an anti-nuclear than Putin or than the U.S.? You've never heard of that book, The Butter Wars?
Yeah, you can get it at bookstores. It is definitely an imprint Dr. Seuss book. I saw it at the bookstore this past weekend.
Yeah.
You'll probably get it wherever you get fine Dr. Seuss.
All right. So I'm on. It's interesting. I always wonder how close we really were. All of the chatter, all the discussion. I'd like to think that calmer heads prevail. And a lot of it was just trying to further an agenda. But in real life, neither Reagan nor Gorbachev were actually even considering ever actually using their nukes. I'd like to think that. Probably true, probably not true. Oh, in the USA. Yeah, so I think it's funny because I think that's probably going to be what you hear depending on what side of the ocean you're on.
I mean,
Because you're going to hear that Gorbachev was trying to be more reasonable than Reagan, and we're going to hear that Reagan was trying to be more reasonable than Gorbachev. That's kind of one of the reasons why I'm like, I really wish there was something out there that just said, you know what, we're just going to record all this and put it in a box. Record the truth and put it in a box somewhere, and then you don't have to worry about it affecting your government or anything like that. And you don't have to worry about it affecting your people, but someday we can open this box and look back on this. And because I that's what I'm saying is I would like to think.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, because
the funny thing is Ray actually does make a point, because here in America, we actually believe that too. That is the common link right there.
What, do we all believe that Reagan?
No, when NATO deployed in Turkey.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, that's literally, we believe that in America too, right?
Some link all the way back to the Bay of Pigs, though.
Yeah, that is.
I mean, because like
that's more of an American thing.
That's more America, because that's JFK and Cuba having
a
show.
Yeah.
But again, like I said, I wish they'd put the truth in a box somewhere and say, I promise we won't release this. You know what I mean?
Well, I know, like, Bill's funny. Like, he'll sit there and be like, Um, yeah, I just want to like go back in time and view history from like a time, like in a time machine.
Hmm.
So like you can view points in history of what's actually happening and get the real story of what was going on in the back rooms and stuff of governments. And this is like one of those times where it's like, yeah, it would have been very nice to know what was truly going on.
Yeah. Well, and
So
that's there's a song in there's a song in um, I'm missing a quote. Why am I missing something here? There's a song in the musical Hamilton,
mhm,
which no one knows what happened in the room where it happened. No one knows in the room where it happened. And the
mhm.
whole point is that backdoor deals are being made and there's no record of it. No one knows anything about it. People are talking to each other and making agreements and there's no trace of it. And
Right.
so that's part of the problem is we don't know, was Gorbachev talking to Reagan off the record? And was Reagan talking to Gorbachev off the record? Were
Yeah.
they discussing things and going, if we make this look a little worse, then we can get a little bit more money out of this sector? Or you know what I mean? Like something like that. You don't know. Things
Yeah.
could have happened anyway. And that's always fascinating to me. And that's why I always like that Hamilton song about the room where it happens. Because it's exactly the way it's like things just happen with these high power, really important figures in history, and we know nothing of it.
Hmm.
I do know that there's an adjustment. Like, what'll happen now is like people like Ray will talk to us and we'll talk to Ray, and somewhere there'll become an equilibrium where you can kind of figure out what might have really occurred. And that's how history kind of corrects itself over
Yeah.
time. You get people who are on both sides finally talking to each other. And when they start talking to each other, they start realizing all of the kind of the misinformation, and they can start kind of moving it back and forth until it's all in the right place. And then you get the history books that are written that way, you know.
Yeah.
But the problem with that, of course, is then it starts looking like people were just ludicrously insane. It's the German Nazi effect from World War II, right? Everybody
Yeah.
just thinks that the Germans just said, "Yeah, that's a great idea. We'll just let people kill the Jews," and nobody, because all the pieces parts, all the propaganda, all of that has been pulled out, so you don't see it from the point of view of the average German person sitting on the street in this situation. You don't see what made them scared. You don't see what people were telling them to do. You
Yeah.
miss all of that.
Yeah.
See you later, Ray. Thanks for talking to us.
Thanks for talking.
I
Have a good
enjoyed
day.
discussing it with you. We only got
Um.
15 minutes in the show anyway.
Yeah. No, I think with this though, you have to understand like we also had people that fled from Russia after the fall of USSR. We had people that came over, and the moment that they came over, there were a lot of people that didn't want to deal with them because for a very long time we were told that they were our enemies.
Right.
So like
Japanese. We have the
it's there's a lot of things that happen that there's still people that still believe what happened during that time frame that's the truth, and you kind of have to approach everything essentially with an openness to be willing to change your mind, or at least be open to hearing what happened to them personally, so that you can have a better understanding of where they're coming from. And so, like that's what I was hoping for. I hope we didn't, you know, Israel.
I do too. I try to say things.
Yeah, they are.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
it's like everywhere. Everywhere is nice. You know what I mean? Like people are nice everywhere. The problem is when you run into that group of people, that one set of people that just are messed up. I mean, like even when I was in Japan, I was in Kyoto one time and there was a looks like I'm having connection problems. But there was a protest going on about, foreigners.
Which I find ironic because aren't they having population problems?
Yeah.
And they're having people that are like children born of mixed marriages moving back to Japan right now, like in a lot of ways, to have families in Japan because of it too.
To some degree. When I was there, they were cognizant and aware they were having problems with population. There were already warnings kind of going out through the government
Mhm.
and to the people. And the response kind of was, until women are not second-class citizens anymore, this is going to continue. Was sort of what was going on. Under chatter, that's what's going on. Because it's very Japanese, right? The Japanese are not open protesters like Australians or Americans. We're very
Yeah.
much into this like open protest. They're not. And part of the reason this is happening is because there's an equal rights movement moving slowly and very subtly. And it took a year and a half or 2 years for me to start seeing that. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
Like, and it was listening to what people were saying and how people were talking. And it happened a lot. It was a lot easier for me to see and read because I was with junior high girls who were less likely to be worried about rocking the boat, less likely to be worried about upsetting things and upsetting people, and not prevented from talking to foreigners. You know what I mean?
Right.
But you'd hear them and they're like, no, I'm going to have to work really hard to do work, to do, to get paid the same as everybody else. And so I would rather just not have kids. You know?
Well, it's
Things you hear.
so there's a YouTube channel that specifically goes to like Japan, Korea, and all of the Asian countries. I think it's Asian Boss,
Mm.
and they interview kids.
Yeah.
They interview teenagers. They interview young adults in Japan.
Mm-hmm.
They've covered this subject.
Yeah.
I do apologize. I have to go to the bathroom again.
That's fine.
Gotta love dedication.
And I'm not disagreeing with you either, Donald. Power hungry people, yeah, there's something. So I saw a scientific experiment, like it was a psychology thing. There's a point where people have so much wealth of some sort, and it doesn't mean, I'm not saying money, I'm talking about wealth of a certain type, and when they hit a certain point of it, they start losing empathy. Oddly, like their empathy starts to diminish, and there's something about, like, They did MRI scans, and the area of your brain which generally operates with empathy just shrinks at some point. And it was an interesting analysis. Like CEOs, people who have, business acumen, the big power plays, something about it, they lose touch with their empathy side. And so it is kind of weird. But there's something out there that does that. So, not disagreeing with you at all. There is something about that. Which just reinforces my belief that I never want to be super rich. I never wanted to be super rich. I just would love it if I could make all my bills. I think that's fascinating. A couple of things. One, I think it's fascinating cultural differences. You're just saying the Russian people you've met. I didn't learn until later that one of the cultural things that Russians tend to have comes from the Russian culture is that smiling is sometimes seen as dishonest. And so one of the reasons that they seem stoic, is because they're actually trying to look honest. Yeah, that's not a bad thought, Kat. I think that might be. If you have people who are constantly asking you for money and asking you for part of your power, whatever it is, you have to somewhere along the line numb yourself. I would believe. I think that's not a bad point. You know what I mean? Like you have to watch. You're building your empire, right? And every dollar means something. Then you have to be like really careful with it for a while there. At some point you hit a tipping point, but by then you probably exactly what you're talking about is by then probably what's happened is that people were like, well, I've now had to learn to kind of be callous towards people. Huh. That's a good thought. I like that thought, Kat. And Donald, yeah. I I mean, I'd be happy if I could just get back to Japan again.
What did I walk back into?
Oh, Donald said he'd like if you had if what we were talking about was people being there's a scientific study that they had done on CEOs and the empathy part of the brain shrinks as you get richer. So, and then Donald or I had said that's one of the reasons, just more reinforcement for me never to be super rich. And I was like, I'd just be happy if I could make all my bills. You know what I mean? And didn't have to struggle to make my bills every time. And Donald was like, I'd like to travel, and that takes money. So I'm with that. And then Kat had said that maybe part of the reason that their empathy section shrinks is because they have to say no to so many people all the time who are begging them for money. While they're building their empire or building that whatever, they have to say no so many times that it just affects how they do things.
Yeah.
I think that's interesting.
Yeah. don't know. I was raised around people that had a lot of money.
Mm-hmm.
Um, all I gotta say is, um, it was interesting. Um, I witnessed someone literally buy a jewelry store just to fire someone.
Wow.
I'm not joking.
I know you're not.
He put it all on a black American Express card, like that one that has like no limit and it weighs about 5 pounds.
Mm-hmm.
Um, he was a friend of my dad's. He also paid for $1,000 bills to be minted so that he could give them out at a job site. $1,000 bill from the U.S. Mint is actually worth a lot more than $1,000.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Because they're super rare.
No, you have to have them specially printed.
That makes them super rare.
hmm People thought it was a joke at first.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Well, we're out in 1 minute, so thank you for joining us, Donald. I'm over halfway done with the comic over here, which is good.
I got the pencils done for one of the 4 images I have to draw today.
Cool. Yeah, yeah. I mean, honest Pepper, just use this as a body doubling if you need it. If you need to get work done, I mean, if you sit here, you can't really leave. You know.
Well, I
That's
kind
sort
of
of
have to leave when I go to the bathroom because I'm not going in front of it.
yeah. But what I'm trying to say is like, you know, you know, it's good for body doubling. Kind of locks you in place here, makes it so you can't really wander away. You know, I think it's kind of cool. Just saying. So you can use it for that, and whenever you need to. You don't have to. You don't have to be here every day. We'd gotten to day number 10 or 11 where there wasn't anybody on here, and I was like, "See you later, cat." And I was like, that's why I posted in Quack. I was like, this is like the 10th show in a row where nobody's been here but Cat, sometimes, and me. And I was like, anybody else want to join? You know, that's really all I was doing. I was just like, hey, anybody else want to join? So, but join when you need to. It's not critical.
Well, I mean, like I said,
as a resource.
Like I said, though, I'm having I'm coming off of like the last time I was on the show. I don't know if you all remember, but I had to leave because of the coughing.
Yep.
So I mean, it's not like new. Like you guys knew I had health issues, so
Yeah.
it's not like that. It's just no. I just been having a lot of other things happen, and it's just making me just evaluate a lot of stuff.
Totally cool. I get it.
So, all right.
So I'm gonna go ahead and get moving because I've got burritos waiting for me downstairs. So I'm gonna go eat burritos. So I appreciate Ray being here. I appreciate oh no, don't do that. I appreciate Kat, and we had Donald, and we had Brent for a while, and it was really cool. We've had a lot of people here today. There's like a whole list of things in here. We've had the Nightbot in here. Alfie was here, but then Alfie went to bed, which makes some sense because Alfie was like, "What's going on?" Alfie was very confused. So anyway, thanks for joining me, Pepper. I kind of needed a little bit of a push today to keep me running, so you kept me going today. So I
Okay.
appreciate it. And I will see you all. And give my love to Bill. And I will see you all later. Have and keep your eyes on the stars. Have a good day. Bye bye.
Bye bye.